First of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
A couple of weeks ago in 2025, all the way back in last year, you compared Neutrali's Extra Muse to your DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And just remind us of what your thoughts were about the kind of build quality, what the differences, the similarities, and everything like that.
Yeah, so the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is arguably the best vlog camera ever made, and DJI has really just changed the game with it. But because of tariffs and America potentially banning it, there was a lack of supply. A lot of people wanted to buy it. It got super expensive. So then this new camera came on the scene called the X Muse. Is it?
The Extra Muse.
Extra Muse. And it just, if you look at pictures of it, it looks exact same. And it functions the same. Even people that reviewed it said it's basically the same, except you can't connect the DJI mic. So Neutrally brought his in.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to buy a camera like that, but probably save some money, because you do save money. And I got to play with it, and I immediately could tell this is not the same product. It might be like a lookalike, it might be a copycat, but it's definitely got a different feel to it. And I have this, I don't want to pop your bubble, but I'm guessing you want me to try it.
Yeah, in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to test you, because
the
thing
close
that you
my
said,
eyes and like hold them.
Oh, we're not going to make you close your eyes. We're going to make you put on a blindfold.
Okay.
So go ahead and put on your blindfold and your oven mitts, because
oven mitts.
What we're going to do here.
Okay, really?
We're going to go from hardest to easiest to open the show, and we've heard that people love the game shows, so we're going to open with a game show.
All right.
Oh, this is gold. This is gold. If you are not watching the video right now and you're just got this on in the background, you better open up YouTube and look at what's happening.
I feel like the oven mitts aren't fair, though. I need to feel it. Okay.
This is 100% going to be the thumbnail.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's play this game then.
So, the very first thing that you said, Benji, is that you could, first of all, tell the difference between the tripods. I'm not going to make you hold it with your oven mitts and do the tripods. We'll do that after you take those off. But you also said, the second thing you said was that you could tell the difference with just the weight. So,
just the weight?
With just the weight. So, in my hand, I have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and the Extra Muse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them randomly. I'm going to shuffle them under the table, put them in your crab hands over there.
Do you really have to do it under the table? Because, I mean, I'm not even looking.
No. Well, that's fair. And I'll hand them over your way. So just a second.
Okay.
I'm shuffling them up just to make sure that it's 100% fair.
These oven mitts are awkward, too. They're not like your normal oven mitts. These are just cheap ones we got for the studio that aren't practical at all. I don't know who bought these, but...
Okay. I'm now handing them to you at the same time.
Just the camera or the tripod?
It is just the camera in your hands.
Real one right here.
And how do you know? What's your opinion about that? It was very quick, your answer.
Well, I told you the weight. This one is the real one, I'm guessing.
So is it heavier? Is it lighter? What are you feeling?
Heavier.
Heavier. And so you think that the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the heavier one. Is that your final answer?
Well, based off of weight, it would be this one. Can I play with it a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So I can't. Well, it's based off of weight, right?
Yeah, just go off of weight here.
Go off of weight. Well, by the way, am I holding the tripod right here?
You're holding just the camera.
Both of them are the cameras? Both are the cameras? You're not tricking me?
They're both cameras.
They're both cameras?
Yeah, I play fair.
I feel like this one's the real one.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You're correct. Okay, so go ahead, and I'm going to take them from your hands. That way we don't drop them.
I'm proving to all you creators that I've vlogged with this camera more than anyone.
I'm going to have you remove the oven mitts now. And the next thing that we're going to test is the tripods.
Oh, the tripods.
So you told me that you could feel the difference between them. I think that the
immediately give them to me. Come on.
I mean, this one I can just tell on my own. I've shuffled them up.
I don't even have to really touch it that much. Okay.
There are the tripods. They're both in Benji's hands.
Fake one, real one.
Final answer?
Yeah.
And tell me what you're noticing.
This is just a cheaper quality right here. This is definitely the real one for sure.
Okay, you are correct. 2 for 2. Are you guys starting to believe, Benji, that he's maybe the best in the world at this? This is a very specific skill that you have,
Okay,
Benji.
let's go. Yeah. By the way, if you want, you can put them into my hands, and I won't really base off away, but I can just tell from holding it which one's a real one. In fact, you know what I can tell from? In fact, you know what I can do? This would be interesting. Just from me swiping the screen up, I can tell which one's a real one. So you hold it towards me.
Yes.
Hold it towards me, one of them, and you have to get it real close. And I'm going to feel for it. I'm going to swipe it up, and then I'll do the second one, and I'll swipe it up with one finger.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them under the table, and I'm putting the screen next to your finger. That's correct, and you're going to swipe up the screen is what you're saying?
Just make sure the screen is facing me, which will be vertical, obviously, in the camera. Okay.
All right, this is the first one that I'm going to show Benji.
Okay.
And actually, to make it harder for you, Benji, I'm only going to let you
Touch the screen.
Well, I'm only going to let you see one of them.
Oh.
Or touch one of them. All right, ready?
This sounds so weird. Okay. All right. Fake.
And what's your rationale?
Go give me the other one now.
Okay, all right.
Bam! Yes, because it's crispy. The nice one is crispy. It doesn't fail you. And the other one was janky, soft, and mushy.
Wow, that is a scathing review of the Extra Muse.
Mm-hmm.
You are correct. So, Benji, you've gone 3 for 3. I think by now it's fair for you to be able to take that off. You could just do the rest of the show like this if you wanted to.
It's like, answer all the questions with no sight, okay?
And I'm just going to hand them over to you now because you nailed it so much.
All right.
There were a few other things that you brought up on the show. Obviously, just the build materials, the texture, the feeling, the way that the batteries and extenders are built. Unfortunately, we don't have the equivalent of those. But
well, let me just talk about this because this is the first time I've actually had it right next to each other. Last time I forgot it. So I wish we had sorry. By the way, what's that? What's the one thing?
The one thing that I would mention, like you already pointed to it, the screen. The screen is so easily to collapse on the fake one compared to the DJI.
Yeah, in fact, Neutrally was showing that to me beforehand, that it's easier to close and harder to open. It's not as balanced as the DJI.
You know what this is? It's very obvious that there's a factory over there that probably makes these, or just somebody that's got the blueprint, and they made the exact same thing, okay? Because the engineering in terms of its design is all the same. But what they did is they saved money in places. Like, for example, in the front part where all the buttons are, on the DJI, it's like a rubbery fill, so you can grip it. You can grip it with one hand like this, okay?
It's a different material there is what you're saying.
Yeah. You can grip it like that versus
on the Extra.
On the... Well, this is weird to do it.
Can you just hold and show the bottom of each of them without your thumb covering it? There you go.
Yeah. On the Extra, literally where that word Extra is, there's no rubber grip. So those are just small things that like the beginner would never think are important or even miss. But if you've been doing this for so long, you need that grip because you don't want to drop it. Second thing, this right here, see, this is sticky. And this is a fairly new Osmo, by the way, so it's not like I wore out the other one, but it's just so crispy. See, like, when you're using this with one hand, you have to be able to... See, I can't get it up.
This is becoming a very weird show.
So what I would tell you is if you want to save money, the Extra Muse is an option, but if you want the full real deal, the DJI is unbeaten. And I am excited for the 4, but I'm telling you, if the DJI Pocket 4 comes out and it's significantly more expensive, I'm telling you, I'm buying the Pocket 3 without hesitation if it's cheaper because it's everything I need. I don't think you need more than this to win at the vlogging game.
Yeah.
If you want a higher quality production, can you put that back on there?
I will.
Then the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 definitely is going to be an option. So anyways, that was a fun game. I'm glad I won.
You nailed it. And I had no doubts. But the reason I have us do this is because it shows you, I mean, literally just how much of a connoisseur you've become when it comes to your vlogging cameras. I mean, you choose a tool and you continue using it for as long as you can until there's something that truly is 100% better than the last, which I think is what you basically said about the Osmo, or B, don't have, or did I say one? I don't remember if it was letters or numbers, but B is something that you can't buy anymore, frankly.
Can't buy anymore.
So, I mean, that's the big concern, right, with the DJI band. But it seems like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is something that will be able to continue to be bought and sold in the US for the foreseeable future. So that's a good sign.
Not to oversell it, but just to tell you how much better this is than just a vlogging camera, I'm going to tell you other things I do with it. First off, vertical video. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you can do both horizontal and vertical video based off of this being vertical or horizontal. Secondly, you can live stream with this. Neutrally, I don't know if you know, I can wirelessly live stream on YouTube with this.
That's pretty cool.
No wires, okay? But even if I need a wire, it's great because it powers it. It powers it. And so you can get extra long USB-C cords. It's totally fine. But wireless is pretty game changer, so it's more mobile. Another thing that's really awesome about it is the fact that there's a lot of really cool accessories. Like I'm using one right now. I don't know what this rig is, and neutrally you might want to
punch in there.
Punch in there. See, this thing, it's magnetized, so you can put it up against like a pole that's metal. It acts almost like a pseudo tripod of sorts. There's a tripod attachment. See, at the bottom, this is not a tripod attachment. It's a USB-C, which hooks up to this battery, which has a tripod. But say you don't want to have this length on there, they have that. I forgot what this was. What was this? I think.
Is it a quick release plate?
I forgot what this one was. I forgot what it was. Okay, but another thing too on the side here, there's a hot shoe mount. So you can add some accessories. But another really cool thing is just like, it's kind of a nice, like those pop sockets on phones. So again,
like for just grip stability.
Yeah. For grip stability, it's nice having this. So it's that much more stable. But I'm telling you, it's hard to beat this. Oh, and then the last thing is PTZ. I don't know if that's the name of the function, but when I'm live streaming, Neutrally can actually control this through
Pan, tilt, and zoom.
Live stream software such as Ecamm Live.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, seeing him operate when he's there, but even remotely, actually, which is even cooler, it's a game changer when it comes to doing remote broadcasts.
Game changer. So this is still underrated with how good it is, but it's because most people would never need to use it for those other things I mentioned. But if you're somebody that wants literally an all-in-one, this is it. The only downside is not a phone.
Well, one of the amazing things is that the reason you've been using that so much is because you've been vlogging using the new vlogging method. And the tool is an important piece of the puzzle. We get asked that question all the time. What gear are you using? What editing software are you using? All really crucial things. But we think that whatever you've got, whether it's the Osmo there, which is worth it, as we brought it up, or just your phone, or whatever you have in your back pocket, whatever you've got in your closet, you can use to vlog, because we think that it's actually much more important that you know how to vlog than you choose what to vlog with. So we have built a course that teaches you how to vlog using what Benji calls the new vlogging method. It's the 3T model, where you have a theme for your channel, a topic and takeaway for every video, and you tell stories in every video. And it's designed to work in the new era of YouTube, which we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show, actually, by the way. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can visit vloggingacademy.com. But for just a little while longer, we also have signups open for the Vlogging Academy Challenge. So our course is Vlogging Academy. It teaches you the 3 T's. It teaches you the method that Benji uses to vlog and that he used to revive his channel. But the Vlogging Academy Challenge includes the fundamentals of that course and also packs in a bunch more. We call it our transformative 5 days of the challenge. And we pack in Q&As every single day. We pack in our course. We give you exercises. And we even allow people to be a part of one of our group coaching calls on the final day of the challenge, which is something we only tend to offer during our most expensive offerings. By the way, this is our least expensive offering. It is the most accessible for the most people because we think that at the beginning of this year, you should get started on YouTube. If you're interested, you can learn more at vloggingacademy.com/challenge. And if it's too late for that, you can visit vloggingacademy.com or send us an email if you want us to bring the challenge back, because those signups are closing soon. So vloggingacademy.com/challenge. Our thanks to the students who are participating in the challenge right now. We hope that you're in here right now. and we will talk more about it later in the show. Let's get to some follow-up. Last week, we talked about Veritasium and what was going on with the Veritasium channel. They're kind of like the Mr. Beast of educational YouTube. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say. They kind of do extreme productions with interesting things, big groups of, is that a fair way of putting it? Not so much challenges, but
I
kind
think
of
that,
high production.
Yeah, higher production wise, they're definitely in that same camp. They just bring a different level of planning, producing, and even just like viewing style.
Yeah.
And to science.
And actually, now that I think about it, maybe Mark Rober would be a closer comparison to Mr. Beast. But they're up there. They're in that kind of cohort of education YouTubers where there's quite a few of them that are doing this. And we talked about last week that in 2023, they were partly purchased by a ownership group called Electrify, who basically approached the founder of Veritasium to say, hey, we would like to own a piece of your channel. We'll get some ownership over it. And we're going to kind of slowly build it out so that way we take control of the business and you are just doing the kind of pieces of the business that you want. And so the founder made a video and he basically said, hey, listen, I'm already been stepping back a little bit. You've probably noticed that. And it's going well. And so I'm probably going to step back even more. So he was able to, get on to finally have his wedding that he'd been postponing for a long time, take care of some of the things in his personal life, and eventually basically posted this video and said, hey, this trend is going to continue. You're in good hands. That's what kind of his message was. And it was just kind of interesting thing that was happening in the space. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say that I love that channel, I love that creator, but a lot of people would be watching and they might not know that there's so many people and a whole team behind them. That's a huge takeaway for you as a beginner, especially if you're doing vlogging as a solo creator and you have no team, nobody supporting you. You have to take it with a grain of salt. These people and the views that they get and the video's quality is because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. So it was very revealing, the video of him saying, am I quitting or when am I retiring, whatever he said, about what it takes to do that. This is why I like vlogging, because I do believe firmly you can do it all by yourself. I do have an editor that takes my content, but it's probably the easiest he's ever edited of anything of my content, because before it would take a whole day to shoot, whole day to edit, and then maybe on the third day would review the content, like really edit even further. Now all of it can be done in a matter of hours if we're all dialed in and aligned on time, and so anybody can do it. But the reason I bring it up is that's why some creators get burnt out, because they're doing more than content creation. They're doing more than the recording, editing, uploading. They're managing people. They're hiring people. They've got payroll. They've got, all kinds of bills to pay, and they're dealing with their building and overhead. It's just crazy. So nothing wrong with that. And those people, they create great content, gets lots of views, makes money. Yeah. But at what expense? Especially their time. And he talked about that. And his story is not new to me. It's just interesting that he would go so in depth into it to explain. Maybe just to give a little bit of clarity to his fans who are asking those questions. But the takeaway is, you don't have to be that big to be successful on YouTube. And my wife is a good example of that.
Yeah, the word that he kept using was precarious, which I thought was kind of interesting. And his framing in the video was that this group, which is called Electrify, came in and helped him make it feel less precarious by providing some of that business background for him. But I 100% agree with you. But the reason I bring it up is because I mentioned that there was a YouTuber who had kind of pointed this out about 6 months before this video. And actually, I think one of the reasons he may have made that video is because he was, I think, kind of responding point for point to Micro, who is the creator that created this video called The Great Buyout. It basically pointed out how a bunch of private equity firms were coming into the space and beginning to buy up all of these channels, and that basically he had predicted that more of these original founders of these YouTube channels were going to slowly fade away into the background, and sort of nailed a lot of the kind of structural things that might be happening. Now, my ultimate takeaway from you should go watch the video first of all, but my ultimate takeaway was slightly different. He sort of has a very negative light. I have a more optimistic tone to it, that this is maybe kind of the future of certain channels on YouTube, not all channels, on YouTube, but certain channels. But I did also mention that there was a bunch that he had listed, and so I just wanted to make sure I listed them here in this follow-up segment of all of the channels that he said he has seen go to private equity. So let me know if you recognize any of these. Task and Purpose, of course, Veritasium, Donut Media, Simple History, Fern, Fireship, Economics Explained, Mentor, Pilot, Futurism, Astrum, The Drive, History Hit, and then here are the big hitters.
Basically everything on Nebula.
A lot of Nebula, yeah. I mean, I'm
if
sure
you don't know, Nebula is like a private subscription website that lets you subscribe and pay more money for exclusive content, stuff that's not on YouTube. And a lot of these brands sound like or are the channels that are on that.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And why would that be significant? Because a business or investment firm would want to buy it out because of a business model that it can be grown and be more profitable. Yeah, you know.
It makes me wonder about what's going on over on the other side there with Nebula. Yeah. But then the big hitters, this is the second group, which is Coco Melon, Colin and Samir, The Theorists,
Blippi,
and Dude Perfect. I don't know about Blippi. So those four are the really big ones, I think. Veritasium, I would probably include there. They're pretty big as well.
Coco Melon was bought out by the same people that bought out Blippi.
Oh, I didn't know that. So there you go. So all of these YouTube channels are being bought out by certain private equity groups. Not the same one necessarily, but it's showing you that there is a economic change happening on YouTube, right? That we have talked about a lot on this show. And this is just one of the ways that it's showing up. More money is flooding into the space, and that money is going to change YouTube overall. Any final thoughts before we go into the next topic?
We were going to go that direction.
I didn't know that.
Ago.
Whoa.
Yeah, we connected with some investor type of people or people that come from the world of production, traditional media. And they were trying to figure out, how do we brand your brands, Judy and Benji, especially her as a mom influencer, and are we able to create something that has products and licensing so that it could become something more valuable? And they didn't say it outright, but I knew where they were going with it. We never followed through or even agreed to do that, but it was just a thought. And that we're talking, this is 2015.
Wow. That would have been early.
Yep.
Speaking of your channels, one of the things that we talked about last week was also that you had this weird video that was getting lots of views, but was relatively short. So just to provide some context, Benji, is it fair to characterize that your recommendation that for anybody who's posting on YouTube, they should be posting at least 30-minute videos if they can, but basically in 30-minute chunks, 30, 60, 1 hour, 2 hours, etc.?
For vloggers who are trying to target that TV viewer, I call them couch viewers who are relaxing at the end of the day, whether it's late afternoon, the evening, and they're throwing something on the TV, or the chore viewer, somebody that just wants something playing on the background. They don't want to pick something. So someone that's looking for longer content, 30 minutes is the new number that I never had before. I didn't have an arbitrary number. A video needs to be as long as it needs to be for this new era, for these new type of viewers on the new device of TV or anything that plays longer videos. 30 minutes.
And that's because of the viewing behavior, right? If you think about the way that people watch TV, they're tending to not want to interact with it as much. They want to choose one thing that they can be with for a certain amount of time. If you look at any TV programming of the entire history of TV, it tends to be in 15, 30, or 1 hour chunks, right? Basically along those 15-minute increments, but especially 30-minute increments. And so you have been really, and a concerted effort in 2025, posting about 30-minute videos throughout the entire year. That said, you did post recently a 12-minute video that happened to kind of take off, and it perked our ears up. We were like, oh, this is interesting. Is it because it's shorter? Is it because of the topic? What was leading to it? And we pontificated a ton about it last week. What was this thing? What was causing it to be catching the algorithm? Was it the topic? And all of those things like that. But you got a little bit of insight here if you're willing to share it.
Yeah.
We had said last week that 70% of the viewers, which is more than usual for you, were new viewers to your channel on this 12-minute video, not a 30-minute video. Why was that?
So just to give you context, it's a cooking video, specifically katsu curry, which is a Japanese dish. I do a lot of cooking vlogs, but this one was shorter than I would like. I think 12 minutes. It's really short.
Minutes.
Yeah. Which is funny because that would have been long at the beginning of my new vlogging method journey, but that's still short. And also I just thought, it's not that strong. I could have gone either way, put it into my family vlog channel just as an inserted integration, or make it on its own thing on my food vlog. Decided to put up my food vlog, and immediately did really well. It was just going, went from 5,000 to 10,000 to 20,000, kept going to 85,000, then just stopped. And for a couple of weeks, I'm like, why did it do this? I've never seen a video, at least on my platform, that did this so starkly. My friend Sean Cannell, he works out with me sometimes on the weekends. I was like, hey, can you look at this? And he looked at the graph where it just stops. He thought, oh, that's strange. What is the viewing source? What's the traffic source of the video? And lo and behold, number one was advertisements. So somebody was running ads, and his first question is like, are you running ads on it? Now, I don't run ads, but he asked me because honestly, like, he thought maybe I was, and that's why it stopped. And I was like, well, there you go, dummy. That's why it stopped, right? Because it's so obvious to him because of the traffic source. I said, no. He said, oh, well, somebody's running ads. And so our theory, this is Sean and I just kind of talking about it, is the brand of the curry that I'm using potentially ran their own ad on this video because it's a perfect way to promote them. This is the power, by the way, of our content. You know what's funny about this is if I didn't disclose if this is a sponsorship or not, sometimes in my content, you wouldn't know it was sponsored because I do it so organically, naturally, and I integrate it into the creative itself. And this would be a good example. So maybe, I mean, I don't know who else would want to run an ad on this. Saw that this company, they're like, let's run an ad. And the reason we really feel like it was this happening is because it just stops.
Yeah.
It just stopped. So probably that was
the money
end.
ran out, basically.
Either the budget ran out or this was the end of their campaign.
Yeah.
And it was just that, which again, maybe makes sense because holidays, people are at home more, and that's, I don't know, or end of the year, maybe they're like, hey, we got an extra budget, let's use it on this. Maybe they just want to test it out. What's cool and confusing, they don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
They
It's
just do it.
shocking to me.
Yeah, because they can pick any video to run as an ad, which is kind of wild. It's just crazy that is possible. But yeah, that's what happened.
I mean, it makes me think that we should reach out to that curry brand and see if they would be willing to sponsor.
Already did.
There you go. It is interesting though too because it speaks to the power of vlogs, right? This brand was clearly somebody there was a fan of your content. They saw it and they're like, oh my god, we have to promote this thing because of X, Y, and Z. I love this creator, and it's kind of a really interesting way of kind of getting your foot in the door and shows you the power of reaching a bunch of people through this new vlogging method.
Well, normally a brand would reach out to you, so it wouldn't be done in this way. This is the first time I've seen it. It's almost like they were testing it out just to see if it would work.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much they spent. I can't say 100% for sure because it could be anybody running ad, but like, what's the incentive for someone else running that? The only other would be maybe like YouTube. They're running a special campaign for like cooking stuff, maybe.
Like promoting it somewhere.
Yeah. But somebody was running ads and gave me traffic. Another reason why I know too, and this is probably goes into Sean's thinking when he first looked at traffic source, the AVD was super low. So typically my AVD, audience view duration, the amount of time the average viewer watches, is 50%. So if it's a 12-minute video, usually would be
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Now, as a video gets more popular and the algorithm's spreading out to more people, the AVD does go down because it's pushing it in front of people that don't have context with you or relationship or subscribe to you. So they don't know you enough to like trust to keep watching if it's not interesting enough. But at 2.5 minutes, that's super low. Now, what's kind of scary is how many creators know their AVD is not even 2.5 minutes. That's a whole nother discussion.
Definitely
but for
not
me,
short form creators.
I'm like, that's part of the investigation. I'm like, why is this AVD? So again, if an ad plays in front of you, it's even more so less context or gonna have any kind of supporting trust from the person that's viewing it because it's just an ad playing.
Yeah.
The fact that it's an ad, even though I wasn't sponsored,
Yeah.
the content wasn't sponsored, because it's an ad, you're less like, because most people would. But again, still really powerful because the average amount of time someone viewed my content was 2.5 minutes. And that's still a lot longer than any short form because even on YouTube it's I think 90 seconds. So yeah.
Just some real-time follow-up from Doc Rock in the chat. First of all, great to see you in the chat, Doc. He says, we run ads on videos that are created by creators about our software. We do ask for their blessing, but no one has been dumb enough to say no, which is kind of interesting, right? So this apparently is something that commonly happens, but it makes sense. Posting content, this is one of the powers of doing something where you're evangelizing the stuff that you truly love, is that these companies might come to you, and even if you don't strike a brand deal with them, they might get you traffic, right? And there's a second lesson in there, which is about traffic itself, right? The fact that Sean's instinct was to say, hey, look at the shape of the graph. That's one thing that you can look at in YouTube Studio. What's unusual about it? Well, when it stops really quickly, that may mean that there's an unusual traffic source. So let's go look into the studio and see what the traffic sources are. Knowing where your people are coming from is a very useful way to get an understanding of who your audience is. And so going into YouTube Studio, don't sleep on those analytics, I would say, and make sure you go in there and check those things out every once in a while, especially if there's a video that's kind of making you scratch your head.
By the way, this actually tells me another thing as a viewer that is wondering why this video of another channel or just a channel is doing really well. Some creators out there are buying views or running ads. I'm not going to name any names, but I know people. By the way, this is not Sean Cannell, okay? I just want to clarify since we were just talking about him. I know other creators that buy their views or they run ads to get views. Whenever I see somebody blow up or whatever, I don't immediately be like, oh, they are the and they're like crushing it and I'm going to bow down at their feet and listen to everything. You never know what they're doing behind the scene. We just talked about how some creators have whole teams behind them, right? Whole production, maybe an investment firm that's paying for all kinds of experts, consultants, editors and all that good stuff. But then in this scenario, sometimes they're buying views. I know some creators who, man, I wish I could say even the niche they're in, because the niche they're in makes it even more embarrassing that they do it. They're embarrassed to get below a certain threshold, so they pay for views to get them above that, so it makes them look good so they can keep their business model going.
Wow.
And to me, the reason this is important to understand as a creator, because number one, you don't know what's going on in the background, so take everything with a grain of salt. But two, don't equate somebody else's metrics with why you're succeeding or failing. So what I can say right now in 2026, YouTube is a completely different ball game. It's a different environment, and the rules have completely changed. So all creators, to a certain degree, are affected by the fact that the algorithm's better. We talked about this earlier today. It's much more democratic. It's much more merit-based. It's actually better for the viewers and the creators. But some creators see more fluctuation now. Yeah. Even me, I see fluctuation. I just saw this crazy thing just happened. And it's because it's almost impossible, especially as a single creator or you don't have a big production, to have a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 is like your best performing every single time. To hit those level, you've got to be cranked up all the way. When you're like racing, what's it called neutrally? When you go to fourth gear, is that what you call it? Like, what is it? They say, I went into first gear. What is it?
Shifting, going to overdrive.
Going to overdrive or whatever. Yeah. Like, you have to be in overdrive to be able to hit 1 out of 10 and get the best views and more views every single time. Or you have to be doing some shady stuff in the background. But as a new creator, this is why we say, don't worry about your views. Almost don't pay attention to the analytics in terms of determining, are you doing well? It's good to follow to
get clues.
The clues and be like, hey, why is this doing well? What can I do better? What did I do well that I want to replicate? But don't equate it to like, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I failing? Am I just a failure? Because it's hard. YouTube is hard for everybody. But if you understand the rules and you're getting great at creating content and you are helping somebody, whether it's entertaining, educating, informing, whatever, that's what's more important. You just keep on doing it, and then the results will speak for itself, but the results come over time.
Yeah, there are certain things that are getting hard, and there are certain pieces of YouTube that are actually getting harder. Interestingly, there's some that are getting easier, some that are getting harder. generally, there are certain avenues in which making money has gotten slightly harder over time. One of those, in my opinion, has been affiliate marketing because it's gotten more competitive, just like everything else. We'll get back to that in a second. First of all, do you guys use Honey, the browser extension?
No.
You don't use Honey. Have you ever used Honey?
No.
I think I did long ago when it first launched. Neutrally, have you?
I used to, when it first launched, yeah.
You guys say you use. It seems like there's some awareness of what has happened in the last year. You guys, know
it was a
about
while ago though that happened.
last year, basically, yeah. So let me just provide some context. There is a YouTuber named Megalag who basically discovered that Honey was sort of his word, scamming creators. So let me walk us point by point through. He recently released an update, which is why I bring it up now. And I wanted to quickly discuss it because we have never gotten to really talk about this in depth. And I'm curious about what your opinion is, Benji. So the first thing that you should know is that there are general, big, overarching ways to make money on YouTube. The simplest one is just by using YouTube AdSense. YouTube runs ads on your videos. You get a 55% cut, I think, of those ads. And they pay you once you reach a certain threshold, and I think they wire you the money or they mail you a check. The second way to do it is something that a lot of people know about, which is brand deals. This is something that pretty much every creator uses. A brand approaches you or you approach a brand, you come to an agreement, and in exchange for advertising or promoting their product or representing their products, whatever the deal is, you can make an exchange of money and services with the brand through the venue of your content in order to buttress your business. So AdSense, brand deals. Another one that's really, really big is affiliate marketing. So this is kind of like the way that if you have a review channel, you might review a piece of content and link out to a Amazon page that has that thing, but you have a special code there that if somebody purchases that product, you get a percentage of the sale. Or in certain cases, if somebody purchases that product or buys anything else on that website for a certain period of time, you also get a percentage of the sale. Am I describing that well enough, Benji?
Yes.
That affiliate marketing piece has been a revolution for a lot of people who were taking advantage of some of the characteristics of YouTube for a very long period of time. So like I said, the review category has a lot of people who are making affiliate marketing money. In fact, this happens on Google search too for news publications. If you've ever used the Wirecutter, one of the main ways that they make money after giving you a product recommendation is by taking a cut of the sale that they help facilitate by recommending a product. So this is all over the place on YouTube. It is it varies in the size of the contribution to every creator's business, but it has been shown by Megalag that Honey was kind of inserting themselves in that process in order to take away some of those commissions through affiliate marketing for creators. So let me explain how that works. Honey's core claim was that they save you money by taking coupon codes from all across the internet and inserting it in the coupon code box whenever you check out to buy something. So imagine you're buying a camera, they find a special coupon code that gets you 20% off, and then you save a bit of money and everybody's happy in the end, except for maybe the business that you're buying from because they're losing 20% of their sales. Well, Honey apparently was inserting itself at the last possible moment and capturing commissions that creators had thought that they had earned by pointing people in the directions of those products, even if they were not giving the person a discount at the end of the day. And so the mechanism there was that when you click on a creator's link and you shop and you reach the checkout, like I was describing before, Honey then runs a flow that replaces a creator's affiliate cookie with Honey's, and it gets Honey paid instead of the creator because of that. So this is a really brutal thing that was happening to creators. Megalag made an entire video that totally blew up on YouTube that was exposing what was going on there. And it kind of was one of the things that made Honey less liked throughout the industry. So far, it sounds like that is where you guys saw that video and that you guys kind of had an understanding of that.
Yep.
First of all, I'm going to pause there. Any reactions to what that was going on there and thoughts about what was going on with the Honey scandal about a year ago?
It's just unfortunate because a lot of people got scammed. The creators who were promoting Honey and then maybe utilizing it in a way, they got scamming indirectly their viewers, and then the viewers who were clicking the link weren't getting the best deals.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course, when I say scammed all around, Honey was basically not setting up in a way where the whole affiliate benefit was going to the creators. So, I mean, to me, it's not even a discussion anymore because why would you use them? I think they went away.
No, I think they're still around, actually.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
There are some class action lawsuits against them right now. And actually, one of the amazing things that I mean, Megalag didn't post like super regularly before, but I remember him posting it. It totally blew up. And then I remember checking like 6 months after, and I was like, oh, he hasn't posted any other videos. I wonder what's going on. Is there legal trouble? Is he, brewing something else? Like, it was just kind of interesting to see. I had big question marks. But very recently, he actually posted 2 follow-up videos about it and did point out that he was under attack by PayPal, who owns Honey, for making those videos, trying to get them taken down, trying to sort of do all sorts of things to him. But he pointed out a couple of things that were further scandals that he thought that were actually sort of unrelated to creators, but kind of point back to this big creator thing that was going on, right? So the first scandal was that one of the things that Honey was supposed to do was obey these kind of stand down rules, as they're called, which means that you are not supposed to overwrite someone else's affiliate link. This is the creator related one, right? Of course, they were doing that, as we know. And what he found out is that Honey was, if there was somebody that was supposedly checking for compliance to make sure that Honey wasn't doing that, it would not replace the code. It would pretend to disable itself on the browser. But through a really sophisticated system, they would look at the user's behavior, check to see if they thought that they were a compliance sort of officer, so to speak. And if they didn't think that they were, then they would insert themselves at the last moment, which is just...
Well, then if he can show evidence of that, I think it's case closed.
And that was just the first scandal. The second one was that the deal quality that he was promoting. So first of all, it was not giving them the best deals. This is something that we knew from the first video. But there was even more manipulation and misrepresentation that was going on beyond that. There was a follow-up that in the first follow-up, he claims that Honey's own data showed that there was a much smaller coupon set than they claimed, which was millions beforehand. Plus, there was a bunch that they had included in the set that were just expired, that were expired or hidden and were never exposed to the user. So the people who were actually supposedly getting the benefit really were not getting the full benefit that Honey was claiming in the end, which is crazy. The second thing was in the second follow-up, which is that they continued to point out that there was other issues that he hadn't even thought about, because when he posted this video, got a lot of people reaching out to him saying that there were issues. One of the big downsides was, as I kind of hinted to before, small businesses. So one of the things that small businesses do, the reason that they give coupon codes is so that they can do this sort of like pseudo affiliate marketing, right? So if you think about these businesses, they're not just giving 20% off for the sake of it. What they're doing is they're building out specific coupon codes for different people that they want to be an affiliate for them, and saying, if you send your audience, they will get 20% off. That's kind of like an exchange for the audience, but I'll also give you credit and probably pay you to advertise this to your audience so you can get foot traffic to our website. There are other reasons to use coupon codes, though, as well. If you're military, sometimes people offer coupon codes. They want to honor certain classes of people throughout society. If you are running a test of your own with your family, saying, I don't want you to pay for it, but can you go through the checkout flow? Here's a coupon code that goes for free. What they were doing is that they would insert themselves and keylog whenever somebody was entering one of these codes and include them in the database, even if they had not consented to it. And so, for example, the clearest example that I come up with this is like the military example. If you imagine you enter military 20, right? It's really only meant to be used by people who are in the military, right? And probably given to you directly by a customer service representative or something like that. Well, what Honey was doing was taking that and logging it inside of their system and then applying it to every single person across the entire thing, which is sort of the promise of Honey to some extent, but it totally ruins the economics for the business, right? The other one of those is actually for creators, right? If you think about for creators, one creator's coupon code gets used, and then it's used across hundreds or thousands of other people who were not coming from the creator's videos, for example, and they're getting credit for it, which is just confusing everybody about
and
how
so
much
the
value they're bringing.
customer who wasn't using military 20, but it was being inserted automatically, does that customer get a discount?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so they're not going to complain about this 20% off discount. They must see it.
Oh, of course, exactly. And
they see like a 20% discount,
they'll see the 20% discount,
and
that's
it just
correct.
popped up out of nowhere, and no one like asked the question.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
who's
I
going to
assume so.
complain about saving money, right?
Exactly.
And then what you're saying is the person who supplied the military 20 discount code has to honor that 20% off. but then also it skews the data because this is not somebody that got it from a certain campaign or whatever, and they don't know. So it's just dirty data basically. And then does the creator who suggested it, they also get a kickback from the honey people?
It depends. Not from the honey people. It would be from the business, right? And so it depends on the business relationship between the people, from the merchant and the creator.
That code.
But one thing to think about is like maybe one creator got a lot more credit than they deserved, and all the other creators didn't get their deals renewed because they thought that the code wasn't being used, right?
Yeah.
So
well,
it's
it'd be
totally
like I've done affiliate deals where my name was the name, right?
Yes, exactly.
So it could be 20% off, but it'd be like military 20, but then this other one might be like Coast Guard 20.
Exactly.
This one might be like Navy 20. Okay. It seems like such a crazy, chaotic thing that they're doing so many things wrong. My question is, what creator would want to work with them, number one? And two, who would want to even touch that sponsorship if they're willing to pay like a creator to promote them? It seems to me that would be dead in the water. It's just not smart legally. And then third, naturally, aren't they going to get investigated?
I mean, there are those class action lawsuits, right? And so there is that going on. Just one other thing, right? So to add to that coupon code issue, there was an issue where the merchants would go and they'd be like, all these people are using this code for the military. I know that they're not all military. Can you honey? They'll figure out that it's honey. Can you remove it? And guess what they would do? They would go and they would basically coerce them to stop using it. So businesses would ask to be removed after the code's leaked. And then what would happen is that all of those other businesses would basically, or the honey would basically tell them, we won't remove you unless there's a working relationship between the two of us. And they would be forced to enter into a business contract basically with honey in order for their codes to be removed. And so they were being coerced into doing it. That all aside, your point still stands, which is that it is really just, 100% scandalous, right? There is an issue with the fact that this company was taking advantage of everybody basically in the ecosystem. And the thing that I wanted to bring up is exactly what you said, which is that one of the things is that honey was, yes, jumping into the affiliate marketing space in between the creator and the merchant. But more interestingly, they were also jumping into the brand deal space. They were making tons of brand deals with creators throughout the creator economy. And so there are lots of creators out there who made deals with honey and first of all, had their affiliate commissions, quote unquote, stolen, right? But second of all, it wasn't something that they were necessarily aware that was going on. So they were kind of benefiting on one end and losing on the other end. I'm curious about what your thoughts are in a situation like that. When you're doing brand deals, is there a world in which you
are responsible?
Well, not only just responsible, but are able to avoid something like this that is so obscured?
No, I mean, I've never had to deal with something like this, luckily. And naturally, something like this can happen to really anyone. Thank you. So you never know when it's going to happen. This is what's crazy. I know people that worked with Honey. I know people that use affiliate link tools that Honey offers and could have been part of these class action lawsuits. They could actually, if the class action lawsuit was started and then people basically had money, they could have been part of that pie, right? A slice of that pie to get money back themselves as a creator. So that's why I'm just curious what kept going. So the only way to protect yourself is have an attorney.
Yeah.
That you just have to always go through legal, because that is just a layer, not only to make sure that you're reading the contracts, you understand the terms, and that lawyer also acts as just somebody that's aware of what else is going on. Because, so my attorney, if they saw that I got a potential opportunity with Honey now, they know about what happened with them before, that, hey, I don't think you should touch it. So that's another layer that, again, you're paying for when you have good legal representation.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to protect yourself. But this is just so massive that's why I'm confused why it's still going on, because it became a story why they're around. The only reason is because guess who has bigger lawyers than creators and just like the individual?
PayPal.
So that's what's going on here. For me, that's what I'm saying. And it doesn't surprise me that the guy that like blew the story, was basically, being, I want to say attacked, just like fought back for what he's done, because they might be liable. And the bigger the pocketbook of the person that has a class action suit against them, the more money they have to pay out. So that's all they're doing. They're protecting themselves from like class action lawsuit by getting to the bottom of it. I don't know. I didn't look into it in detail, but I've talked to creators who literally said, yeah, I could be part of a class action lawsuit, or they got scammed, or they were sponsored by Honey. And then all this happened, and these are outstanding creators. They're not like the type that I told you about, like buys views or does weird stuff. So it could happen to anybody. That's why I always have a lawyer, because say you do get into trouble, guess what? The lawyer is going to help you navigate that circumstance, which can happen. Just part of life, in honesty, when it comes to business.
Moving on to our next topic, I wanted to bring up something that we talked about a little bit before, but get a little bit visual with it because it points to some bigger things that are happening in 2026. First of all, 2025 was a huge year for YouTube overall. Actually, just a huge year for the creator economy in general. But in particular, there are small little things that point us to the direction that can show us what creators should be doing when it comes to their strategy in 2026. And so I want to begin by talking about the new YouTube video player. So we talked about this many, many months ago. I think actually just at the end of fall, maybe even the kind of middle of fall, where we knew that there was a new YouTube video player that was going to be coming up. It was released on December 12th, so it's been out for a couple of weeks. And I just wanted to take a look at it together. So neutrally, if we have the old one, really quick, if we can pull that up. This is what the old one looked like, Benji. I'm sure that you're familiar with it. Anybody who used YouTube over the last several years on the TV knows this layout of things, that you've got the title on the left with the name and the subscriber count and the time that the video was posted, the bottom bar with the progress of the video in terms of both the length of the video and how much you've watched so far. Then you've got the subscribe button on the right, closed captioning, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, add to playlist, and video settings, which is kind of an interesting thing. Now, I don't know about you. I hated that layout for the entire time. I thought it was okay. Like, it worked for the TV. And as far as TV things go, it actually was decent overall. But I always thought that it was weird that the subscribe button was over on the opposite side as the channel name. And it was kind of too close to the like and dislike button, in my opinion.
Wow, you really, really thought through that. I'm curious what the new one looks like.
Yeah, so neutrally, why don't you show us the new one? As you can see, they were reading my mind, which is kind of crazy. It's a little, first of all, it's a little simpler. The progress bars up on the top, they have chapter markers and things like that. I don't know if that's just because this video happened to have chapters and the other one didn't. But all the way on the left side, they have the channel profile picture, a button for the description, a button for the subscribe, and then they have the forward, back, play buttons in the middle, which was something I think was entirely missing before, funny enough. And then in these little chips, as they're called, they have a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, save. And then beyond that, I don't even know what the eyeball button does. Do you guys know what the eyeball button does there on the bottom right? I have no idea.
I don't know.
And then the settings button as well. And so I point to this because you're right, Benji. It is kind of a nerdy thing for me to look at the UI and be like, oh, this sucks, even though it's like A-okay. And then look at this and be like, oh, I'm so excited that they fixed all the problems that I was frustrated with, right? But I want to make a case for why it is important, which is that it is so nuanced and such a nuanced change on the TV that why did YouTube deploy any engineers or designers to work on this problem at all? Any ideas?
Well, I'm assuming just because I know the context of what we discussed, the television is becoming such a huge part of the viewing experience. So when they made that viewer, not in the original, like the original form that it was in, the one that you didn't like, the TV wasn't as significant.
Yeah.
So it was more about the computer, the laptop, or the iPad, obviously on the phone, because I'm guessing the phone UI is totally different than what the TV one is.
They take cues from each other now.
I got it.
But
yeah. But now they're really separating it out. So how you use the iPhone app or the phone app is going to be different than what the television looks like. So they're just making it so it matches that experience and is better for that. The one little thing I'll agree with you is the subscribe button should be next to the channel name.
Yeah,
that's like
weird, right?
a no-brainer. Yeah. Why would you put it to the other side? I'm guessing that has more to do with what it used to be like back in the day.
Interesting. Like in terms of like just where the subscribe button generally
Yeah,
was.
it's like you don't want to make too much of a change, because if you like mess people up, then like there's people out there that think about UI. They're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do, right? But there's a practicality to that. I actually understand. So instead of moving the button all the way over, you just slowly move it. You can see over
like
time,
evolving,
over the years, the YouTube viewing base. So long story short, is because of the TV, and they want it to be more flowing, better, and just easier for people to consume their content and consume more of it, and get all the buttons in the right places.
Yeah, I would argue that just generally it is a better user experience. And importantly, because it's a better user experience and the TV is so important, that it points to the fact that TV is becoming more and more central to YouTube's strategy as a company overall. I think that's sort of unquestionable at this point. If you watch this show at all, you know that that's what we believe. But these tiny little tweaks kind of show you and point you in a direction where, hey, back in the day, there was no YouTube TV app, and so there was no UI for us to really think about. Even with Chromecasting, it was very minimal UI overall, right? But as time goes forward, the fact that they're continuing to update this tells me that they continue to care about it, very importantly. There is something else that's kind of interesting about it, which is that we've talked about form factor on this show, and actually you bringing up the difference between the phone's UI and the TV's UI is very important. We're going to come back to that a little bit later. Creators should be thinking like YouTube in this way as well, in my opinion. Sometimes they're going to be designing things that'll be viewed on a phone, right? And so you should then think about how the viewer feels when they watch your stuff and what your video should look like, feel like, what length it should be, where it should be discovered, what the description is and the title is, based off of the device that you imagine them viewing things on. The TV is very much the same way. And so these little changes affect how people view the TV as well. And so if you want to take advantage of the growing part of the TV, you should be building your videos for TV. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I just was thinking something that was normal on our phone for YouTube videos that would be obnoxious on the TV viewing is, say you recorded yourself and you're really close up to the camera and your face is half the screen. Well, in the living room, someone's face being like blasted like that big, it would be like
unsettling.
Whoa, maybe unsettling, especially if you're yelling at the thing. If you're yelling into the camera, which inevitably turns into a video, and someone's watching it on the phone, not as big of a deal as that if it's on the, I don't know if you've seen how big these TVs are, 100 inches.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. So I was actually thinking about my method of filming. Sometimes, because I have the Osmo, I'll set the camera on the shelf and I'll be on the opposite side of the aisle or the walkway. And so I'll be pretty small in the picture, but on the TV, it looks totally normal.
Yeah.
Looks fine. I mean, by the way, at a 100-inch TV, I'm probably 5 foot at least. But if I do that and you watch it on the phone, I'm super tiny. It might be kind of awkward. And the real question, in fact, I was promoting vlogging, the vlog challenge.
Yeah.
And what was one of my points? You have to decide.
Yeah. Are you going to go shorter or are you going to go longer?
Yes. This is more on the extreme side. I said, are you going to be the shorter form creator, literally shorts, or are you going to be longer? Everything in between doesn't work. So in your case, I think it's the same thing. Are you going to create content for the person viewing on the phone or on the TV? Now, the big thing that people would mention is, what about all the devices in between?
Yeah.
Well, if you're just thinking all about efficiency, effectiveness, and taking advantage of how the algorithm thinks works and ultimately decides where views go, right? Or at least where videos get placed. Making the distinction for your content is important. Well, why do creators not want to do that? Because they get FOMO. I want to be big on YouTube Shorts with those type of, that community. And I also want to take advantage of longer form, not necessarily because I want to be a part of that community, but they want to make the money.
Yeah.
They want to get the AdSense, or they want to get brand deals, or looking for longer form content. But especially in the beginning, I think it's better to make the distinction and then figure out how can you play in those different communities.
Yeah, well, what is the best use of your time, right? Because you're only one person, unless you're Veritasium, where you have a whole team. You're only one person, right? And so you have to decide whether you're going to spend your time making short form or making long form, especially if you're just beginning, right? Which I think gets us to the biggest story of last year in, I would argue, all of media, which is YouTube's dominance overall in all of media, especially on the TV. I think understanding that is key for creators to understand because it shows you where you as a creator are in the entire media ecosystem as a whole. And it answers the question that you're just bringing up, Benji, which is where should you be putting your efforts? So I want to talk right now about how 2026 is going to change that calculus for creators. And it begins with a report from Janko, I think it's Rutgers, on his newsletter, Low Pass, titled Inside YouTube's Transformation on Your TV. This was posted all the way back in October 2025. It's kind of been sitting at the bottom of our show notes for a long time because it's just kind of an ongoing thing. But I figure because it's the beginning of 2026, now is a great time to put our stake in the ground and really talk about core things that are happening on YouTube and really make sure that we talk about the entirety of the picture of what's actually going on when it comes to strategy on YouTube. Let's start with his core claim. In this article, he says the YouTube app on your TV is about to undergo some massive changes to the point where you might confuse it with Netflix. By the way, he's not talking about just the player. That's the beginning of things. There's other bigger changes that are going on. So let me continue. Or any other paid streaming service at a first glance. Instead of getting overwhelmed by long, chaotic lists of thumbnails as soon as you open the app, you'll soon be greeted by massive banner images teasing the latest episodes from your favorite channels, ready for you to flick through. Those images, which are also at the top of individual channel pages, will look a lot crisper thanks to YouTube bumping up its upload limits for thumbnails for the first time in a decade. So first of all, you can upload bigger thumbnails on your channels, which is
finally. Oh my gosh. Any creator knows it's so annoying when you've got a video that you worked on for hours, maybe days. Not if you're doing new Vlogmas video, it should only take a few hours. And then you upload it, you title it, you go through the whole thing, and then you go to upload your thumbnail, and my gosh, you have to resize it, you know, if you know. And so that's cool. So that means that you can file. I always thought that was more of a server thing, like just saving space at their data centers than it was about the image just being too high quality and they needed it to be, I don't know. So that's cool.
Well, but the TV is motivating the fact that they're like, okay, well, it's worth it now. We're going to take up the server space by letting bigger thumbnails because guess what? Again, these are like the appetizers here. We have not even gotten barely to the beginning of the main course, right? Okay. The player's changing a little bit. The thumbnail upload sizes change. Let's talk about the big new feature that's happening.
Where'd you find this out, by the way?
This is from, I forget the name. Janko Rutgers at Low Pass. Again, this is his report in October of 2025.
Okay.
So here's the big new feature, and it will kind of lead the discussion for the rest of it. So I have two things that I want to read, but the first one is the most important. So he says, and perhaps most significantly, a growing number of channels will feature shows in a more familiar format. Videos will be organized by seasons and episodes, ready to be binge-watched just like on Netflix. Quote, when viewers watch this content, they'll go episode to episode based on how it's organized, end quote, explained YouTube's senior director of product, Kurt Wilms. Quote, when they turn on the TV a day later, they can continue right where they left off in the show, end quote. He goes on to continue about the importance of TV. He says, over the past few years, the service has seen massive growth in living room usage to the point where people now watch over 1 billion hours worth of YouTube on TV every single day. So the big news there, like I said, is the fact that they're organizing channel content into these shows. So if you imagine opening up Netflix, you go to Stranger Things and you click on episode 1. You click on episode 2. You go to season 3. They're going to allow creators to start taking advantage of that here. And I think it points to kind of what you and I have talked about a lot, Benji, right? Which is the fact that shows are becoming more and more a part of YouTube.
Yeah, well, we were watching a show yesterday, and it's called King of Queens. And what do if there's lots of seasons? You go to the season, and maybe you've already watched it twice like us, so you're on the third pass, but maybe you want to pick a different episode based off of what you remember about it. I'm always surprised how I don't always remember an episode. We're on the one where Doug manipulates both his wife, Carrie, and his dad by like getting his stepdad to like say what he wants to
Get
eat
the food,
to
yeah.
Carrie.
Yep.
And then Carrie's like, why are you freaking out about it? Okay, we'll just order, and really it's Doug. Anyways, point I'm trying to make is shows are really powerful because a show is something that's like guaranteed satisfaction. That's part of a season, you know, and it's part of a bigger show. Or I meant mostly episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason it's significant for a creator, we talk about the TV, but why is the TV significant? Because of the way people watch the TV. They watch in 30-minute increments. Why is that? Because that's how long a show episode really is. one of the mistakes that I don't even know if you would call it a mistake. They just could have never known this is the way YouTube would go, is calling your channel a channel. It's more like a show now.
Yeah.
If you're going to take advantage of the longer form viewer, which want those longer videos. And so you could look at your channel as a show, and then it's just going to be formatted like different seasons. I'm already thinking for my content, because I put a lot of my content into playlists. So there's different videos in each playlist. But
Which is very similar to this
yeah,
idea.
but now if somebody loves my Costco vlog of me shopping and talking about the different sales, and they just love that, now if it's part of this, playlist of episodes that represents a show, they can binge watch all of them, and they know it's there. Because what do? When there's a show you want to binge watch, and you can't watch all of them at one time, what do, Austin?
Go to the page and then click on it and continue watching?
Continue watching, right?
Yeah.
And then once you're done with the episode and you got to go to sleep because it's 1 a.m., you got to get up at 6 a.m. What do you do the next day when you're going to watch that same show?
You go back to the same place.
And you watch the one that you haven't seen.
Exactly.
Okay? So if people start behaving like that for YouTube, it's on like Donkey Kong, because then that's not an algorithm thing.
Yeah.
And so the algorithm helps you get discovered, but the behavior and the habitual viewing lets you have obsessed viewers. And then that is crazy because, again, if they're 30-minute episodes and people tend to watch, I don't know if you want to reveal this, it's kind of personal, but when you binge watch a show or whatever you're binge watching, how many minutes or hours are you typically on average in a week where you have the time to do it? Are you binge watching content?
In terms of like one specific show,
yeah.
I'm very disciplined. I usually only watch one episode of a show per week.
Oh, you're boring.
I know.
What about you, Neutrally? How many hours? How many?
Man, could be up to like five,
Okay,
6.
5.
That's
okay?
fair, yeah.
So for a YouTuber, for a creator, that's a big deal. And that 5 can be now. It could have been last year. It could be 2 years from now. And you just got your whole library and people are just binge watching all of them. For me and Judy, the saddest thing is when we watch a new show and we are all caught up. So we have to wait for the week. See, people just want more. What am I trying to say? The more content you have up, that's packaged like a show and has seasons and has a whole bunch of episodes. And remember, it doesn't have to be your traditional show. Like my cooking vlogs, my shopping at a grocery store vlogs aren't a show, but it's formatted for the same type of viewing behavior. People want 30 minutes or they want longer because they're in the evening, right? They're relaxing on the couch viewer, or they're the chore viewer. They just want to throw something up. By the way, that's kind of what we did. We're like cleaning. We just had the show playing on in the background. Powerful. Because guess what happens? Ads play throughout that time. You make the AdSense. And it's a whole different business model as a creator that we didn't have 10 years ago, definitely didn't have at the very beginning. Now it's just opened up the opportunities. And this is why the distinction is really important. Are you going to be that shorts creator, or are you going to be this TV creator? That's kind of how I look at it. I always go back and forth. Should I call it long form creator? Should I call it longer content creator? I almost want to say it's for the TV creator.
Yeah, I like
shorts
that too.
creator and TV creator.
Yeah, and that's something that you wouldn't even thought about 3, 4, 5 years ago necessarily, but it's become so clear that this is the trend of things that you really could just go direct to TV as a YouTuber, basically. I like the idea of guaranteed satisfaction, right? You mentioned that you think that one of the big issues that YouTube did is called it a channel, right? Because a channel is kind of like you tune to it, and maybe they have multiple shows that are going on it. But actually, I think that this might solve that problem to some degree, because you can have a channel, and then within that channel, you can have a show. Which is what they kind of did. And so, do you think you're going to be using this feature when it rolls out?
For sure. It's just more work. I have to figure out how this would work, because I imagine. And this is another thing too. Are they going to keep it landscape, the thumbnails? The reason I bring it up is question. When you go, well, I guess Disney and Amazon do landscape thumbnails, because when you go to Netflix now, there's a horizontal one.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Horizontal. I mean, there's a vertical one,
yeah.
And you can go through it. I think it's important. And you know what? Opening up the file size is going to make it so you can actually make proper thumbnails.
Yeah.
Not just a YouTube thumbnail, but a proper one for the TV. Because, it's crazy. I never thought about this because I've never watched it. watching YouTube on a 100-inch TV is ridiculous.
It is.
And I bet you our vlogs from back in the day look crappy because we used to upload in 720p.
Yeah,
so on a
exactly.
100-inch TV, it probably looks like us in the 90s, because I'm older, watching like a 50s black and white show. Not as desirable. It might have still been funny. It might have been entertaining, but it's not as crispy. It's not even in color. So that's kind of it. And so all that being said, this is why you're having a back library is great, especially if it's recent. But no, make content for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Create content that could last from the 100-inch TV to the 150-inch TV to the projector screen that could light up your whole wall, and everything from thumbnails to the actual video itself. And thinking, by the way, even me, more and more, I used to do 1080p, but now it's like 4K, like at least 4K. I don't even entertain 1080p because I know if it's on the TV and you want it as crispy as possible, 4K is the minimum.
Yeah.
Because I actually think there will become a time where I'll explore 8K for vlogs.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I want to talk a little bit more about the development of this, because you talking about the TV, it's not just theoretical, and it speaks to kind of the wisdom of YouTube as a whole, actually, and the way that they take all of these ideas from across the company and fold them together to make better and better product, which kind of gets us back to the original YouTube player thing. So again, Janko here talks about the development of channels by saying, the rollout of shows across YouTube channels has been a long time coming. First announced a little over a year ago, the feature was initially developed several years back when YouTube began working on a channel store for third-party video services on its platform. So think like CBS or Paramount, or if Netflix did it, it would be Netflix as another one. So they were developing these features for these things, and then bringing that type of subscription content directly into the YouTube app required listing individual TV shows with complete seasons on its platform. Quote, shows was born out of what we call primetime channels, Wilms explains. We made big, beautiful show pages for our primetime channel content, and when we were building that, we originally started rolling out, we realized creators would love this feature too. End quote. At the core of the decision to expand the show to creators was the realization that the lines between professional and user-generated content were increasingly getting blurry. Quote, for us, it's no different if you're White Lotus, if you're watching White Lotus or Michelle Care or with Challenge Accepted, the content is the same. The way you can consume it is exactly the same. We see our viewers bouncing between both, end quote. With viewers increasingly watching videos on the TV, YouTube has also seen creators adapt and expand beyond short viral clips. Quote, they're moving toward a more episodic, cinematic kind of content, Wilm says. Great storytelling, arcs that continue video after video, end quote. And one might add higher resolution videos with 4K uploads up to 35% year over year. We know other creators who are actually doing this. If you take a look at like Pat Flynn, what he's doing with Deep Pocket Monsters, right? That is a episodic show meant to be watched from the beginning. It would be a perfect candidate for this type of thing, right? They're making basically like hour-long epics sometimes or 2 hour-long epics being posted to YouTube every month, right? And so this is like the thing where you're saying you're waiting for the next episode of whatever show you're watching. His fans are doing exactly the same type of thing. So to me, the takeaway here is that this is what distinguishes between the old era of YouTube and the new era of YouTube, which is that, as you said, people are making things that are meant to be watched serially, episodically from beginning to end, and importantly, watched on the TV.
Yeah. There is one thing to consider, which is going to be a huge challenge for creators, though, in the TV world.
Yeah.
Guaranteed satisfaction.
Yes.
There's way more forgiveness on TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts, and even just YouTube traditional viewing, horizontal videos, long videos on the phone. You're okay watching a crappy video for the sake of like learning this one thing, or even watching somebody that you follow. Right, it's more like the comfort viewing.
Yeah, it is like the comfort.
Comfort viewing is different than guaranteed satisfaction viewing. The comfort viewer, and this way you get away as a talking head video podcaster, right? But in the TV world, this is the danger of YouTube becoming a streaming platform. Your expectations get higher and higher, and this is where I think that the danger is for YouTube. Is they are trying to compete with Disney's, Netflix, Amazon Primes, and even Apple Plus or whatever. And that is a game that just to be fair, most creators can't play. Unless you're those bigger production type of channels like a Veritasium, a Mr. Beast, or whatever. But it takes so much work. And so like I'm even trying to like fast forward myself on that 100-inch TV.
What does your show have to look like on that?
What does your show have to look like? It's funny because we were just talking about how audio's got to be upgraded now because you want it to sound good. You don't want it to sound crappy. When it's crappy on the phone, it's whatever. But when it's crappy on the TV, it's like, ooh, like
you might have a surround sound system.
The background noise comes out. So that's why, like, hey, get that fixed up or whatever. I'm more conscious about background sound, even though I do have a nicer mic. But now I'm just thinking, me shopping and talking about stuff or cooking, how it looks on that bigger screen, because you'll only forgive me for like lower quality for a certain amount of time. If there's another thing that would be a better option for the same, satisfaction or same need or demand, you're going to go to that.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, I think this is where the traditional world, whether it's Hollywood movies or, television shows, I think can win on TV for those kind of things.
Yeah.
We talked about how sports already does it at the highest levels of broadcasting. And you never think about it because we take it for granted how good it is until you watch like a high school game broadcast. And then it's like, ugh, I'll just go watch it there or not watch it. I'll just watch college ball or NFL.
I think that the big takeaway here again is just that the TV is so big. I'm curious about what your thoughts are, what this points you in terms of YouTube strategy, right? In 2026, if you're starting a channel or if you're growing your channel again, knowing that YouTube is pushing on TV hard, they're building out features for this, they're creating literal show options on the TV. What should creators be doing in order to make the most of the direction that YouTube is headed in?
Well, we haven't talked about the YouTube short strategy. And that is something that we should probably dig into and understand because that isn't something they're going to leave behind. It might not be as big in terms of their PR, but it's still a big deal because what does that compete with? TikTok, especially if TikTok fully gets banned. Even if it gets taken over, that's an opportunity for new users. Instagram Reels is a huge player, and any other short form. I even talk about Pinterest being into short form. X has short form viewing, so they want to play in that space because they know that a lot of creators, a lot of consumers are there. This is the first time I've made such an aggressive distinction of are you a shorts creator or now I'm saying are you a TV creator? Everything in between is still in play, but it's so damn competitive. Those are the two. By the way, you know what's funny about it? Even though Shorts has AI to compete with, lots more competitors, and then migration of other creators coming in, I still think there's a lot of opportunity there just because people use it a lot. It's just a different business model, different tactics or whatever. On the TV side, are you going to go all in on that? That's like even me as we're talking, I'm just thinking, do I want to go all in? I kind of have because I only do 30-minute vlogs now if I can. Sometimes I'll upload like that random one that was 12 minutes and sometimes like if something will be like 22 minutes to 20 minutes. If it's good enough where like, it's not as long as I want, but let me say I like the topic or whatever. So how will it change? I actually think it's going to make greater opportunities, more opportunities. That means more views, more subscribers, potentially more monetization opportunities, not just AdSense, but brand deals. If your videos are longer, because now you're taking up, again, this is the way we were talking about how long do you watch your shows? Well, if you're the creator and your shows are being consumed by those viewers that used to watch Game of Thrones or The Office or anything else, amazing, because you're bringing a similar amount of satisfaction and value that those other shows did at one time, and then you're making all the money, so all the AdSense and potential brand deals versus those are huge productions. Okay, so everything in between to me is I don't think as worth it. And I've never said that before.
That's amazing. I mean, making that decision, right, is kind of what you're talking about. And you're reading my mind too, because we're going to talk a little bit about short form right now. I think it's crazy, just to finish that other discussion, how YouTube is so dominant that they're facing attacks on basically all fronts. They're so big that they're competing with Netflix on the TV, right? But they also scale so much that they go down to the phone, and you're competing with TikTok and Reels on Shorts on the phone, let alone the fact that people watch long form on their phones as well. And guess what? Well, listening to podcasts, they're competing with Spotify, for God's sake.
By the way, one more note.
Yeah.
The Gemini AI function in YouTube videos, I'm skipping watching some stuff now. And guess what? That doesn't work as much maybe on like a show because part of the value is watching the show. Like the stories or the entertainment factor or the personality that you like. The summary doesn't work. But that works on more informational stuff,
yes,
educational stuff. You know, even like, by the way, this podcast can be cannibalized by the AI thing. Because if you don't have it, you know, our shows are 1.5 to 2 hours long. Well, say you want the quick version of it, just read it because you just want the nuggets, right?
Exactly.
So that's why if we're doing a show, like how I'm strategizing around getting around that, more personality, more stories that are more nuanced in how it's delivered, the AI summary can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And also adding so much value in other places that you just want to watch because you've got this connection with me. And so we have to get this show to a place where it becomes someone's habitual viewing, comfort viewing, but even more than that, it's satisfying their desire to use that time well, you know?
I totally agree. And again, that's kind of the actual challenge right now on YouTube if you're a creator, which is that there's so much opportunity. Choosing which opportunity you're going to take is the hardest part, which is kind of funny. That brings us to the short form side of things, right? So you were just bringing up short form as one of the issues. And late last year, I kind of teased that I would make a pitch for how TikTok and other short form platforms could actually march their way towards competing with YouTube. And I think today is going to be a great day to bring it up because we've talked so much about the other side of the coin, right? So first, when I told you that I thought that TikTok and Reels would be able to compete with YouTube, for example, on the TV, I remember you looking at me quite with a skeptical face. Tell me why. Why are you skeptical of that idea?
It comes down to one simple point. It's vertical. So nobody wants the black bars on the side, just like we didn't want the black bars on the side when it went from square TV to landscape, you know?
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of YouTube, it was kind of square. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do remember
It's like, so a lot of those square videos doesn't look, you buy a 100-inch TV for a reason. You want all 100 inches, okay? Yeah. So for vertical videos, it's even worse because it's thin, right? Because it's vertical, it's up and down. So that to me is number one. And then two, again, just like what we ranted about the last 20 minutes, when you're creating content for these vertical video platforms, short form platforms like TikTok, Reels, or YouTube Shorts, everything about the experience is formatted for that screen, which is the phone.
Yeah.
So when it goes to the TV, it just doesn't hit it's almost like something's missing.
And literally the letterboxing, the black bars on the sides are a great example of that. There's tons of pixels missing from the image. It's kind of a symbol
for me,
of that.
it's both the format and the in your brain thinking something's missing. Literally, something is missing, but nothing's there to fill it. But you're just thinking, I'm getting only half the value because the other, 50 inches of my 100-inch TV aren't working.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you say that because those are the sort of two what I call quote unquote simple problems that these companies have to solve. They're vertical and they're short. That's the way I kind of did it. The shorter videos, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk you through the pathway, and I'm going to walk us towards this bigger piece of news that dropped this week. But I want you to you can beat me up along the way on the pathway if you'd like, because I'm going to do my best to convince everybody. So first of all, TikTok is already incentivizing longer videos, right? It's a huge hurdle for them to get over, but we're already seeing them have some success with that. So I think that 1+ minute long videos get monetization if people are watching for at least a minute. Is that, yeah, right?
Yeah, I've heard of creators arbitrarily extending their videos so they go over that threshold and then they can make more money or some money.
So we know that it's working to some degree, like literally it's incentivizing them to make longer videos. That way they can hit that threshold, right? But the next problem there is vertical, right? The fact that those things are vertical, like you talked about, I think that will actually become less of a problem over time. And let me explain why. We already know someone locally here in Seattle who's a vlogger. They vlog horizontally, long form for YouTube, and they heard about the TikTok incentive for posting longer videos, and they wanted to start uploading their 15 to 30 to 45-minute horizontal vlogs to the TikTok platform, which kind of was a head scratcher, at least for me initially, right? But if you think about that, if that vlogger is one example of somebody who maybe is thinking about, well, the minute plus long view time can get me money on TikTok, I might as well upload my horizontal video to the phone, right? Then that begins to actually solve some of the vertical orientation problem that TikTok is having. Because guess what? They're not going to reformat their videos to go vertically, I don't think. They're just going to post the horizontal video directly to TikTok, right? You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes. And then if I'm guessing on what's going to happen, then TikTok becomes a horizontal video content platform on the TV, because guess what? You and even their algorithm will choose those pieces of content to watch on there.
On the TV specifically. You read my mind, which is that the more that those videos become incentivized and the more that creators actually upload them, even if they're creating them for YouTube and just syndicating them to TikTok, the bigger the library that TikTok has to start posting those to the TV. By the way, replace TikTok with Reels, with Facebook, whatever you want to here. But anybody who's able to build up that library of horizontal long-form videos will have this as an option for them on the TV as well. So
you just need a lot of videos uploaded there, and you have to create a habit. One reason why you might succeed to a certain degree, you don't have to overtake YouTube. You just have to have like a small percentage, is what people like the data of their viewing history. What do people say? They love the algorithm on TikTok. They know me so well. Maybe they think that is better than the YouTube algorithm. So I can see why, hey, if TikTok is just good enough, it doesn't have to be better than YouTube. It's just good enough. I like the algorithm and what it suggests to me there versus like what YouTube does for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So I can see that as potentially being a place. Now, still, what do you think I'm going to say as their number one lacking like tool or benefit to creators?
AdSense.
That is the hard one, because AdSense isn't just simply creating ads or supplying the ads. It's businesses and brands buying the ad space to be able to run their ads there.
Benji, you've fallen right into my trap. I've got us to the news now, which is that, well, you know what? I'm not even going to drop the headline yet because it's so revealing. This is by Megan Bobrowski at the Wall Street Journal. This happened just this week. And I'm just going to walk you through kind of the story first. So 5 years ago, this is from her, quote, 5 years ago, Meta's Reels was a TikTok copycat with no revenue. Now, it is set to bring in as much as Coca-Cola and Nike. The company plans to expand to even more screens in 2026. So you can see where I'm headed with this. Meta Platform's chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, announced on an October earnings call that an Instagram and Facebook Reels had surpassed $50 billion annual run rate, which means that the company is on track to make that amount of revenue over the next 12 months.
From ads alone?
From ads alone. By comparison, analysts expect YouTube to bring in $46 billion in advertising revenue. And the research firm eMarketer estimates that TikTok will bring in $17 billion. So, to remind you, 2020 Reels launches. This is from Megan again. By 2022, Instagram users were spending 1/10 the time watching Reels as they did on TikTok, the Wall Street Journal reported at the time. One document said Reels engagement had been falling over the past 4 weeks and that most users have no engagement whatsoever. She continues, 5 years on, something has started to click. The average Instagram user is now spending 27 minutes a day on Reels versus YouTube Shorts users watching for 21 minutes on that platform, according to estimates from market intelligence firm Sensor Tower. TikTok is still the king of the average user, spending 44 minutes a day scrolling its main feed. She then continues on to say, the company has turned a corner and now plans to build on that momentum by launching Instagram for TV. A few weeks ago, Meta announced a first step towards that goal, rolling it out on Amazon Fire TV devices in the US as a test. Lyons said that Instagram knew from research that a lot of people were watching Reels with their friends by mirroring their devices on a TV. So the money's there. They have it. I mean, they're already making it just on the short form platform, which continues a narrative we talked about that was surprising, that YouTube's making a lot of money from shorts as well. but it's not TikTok, it's Meta, which kind of makes a lot of sense that Google and Meta are the two biggest advertising companies in the world, basically, and that they have the two juggernauts in the space here, basically pulling in the same amount of money overall for creators from ads. So I'm curious about your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I could see a place where they could creep in on the piece of the pie. And the thing about Facebook, it's from the same era of YouTube, so same generation of people, people that are still probably going onto Facebook on a desktop computer or a laptop. The TV is kind of interesting. I think they could potentially creep into the TV space with a casting kind of function. They probably have something like that, right? And if the Facebook ad is up there, there's two things I would say. Number one, it still comes down to what are you known for as an app, platform, or business? What is Facebook? When you think Facebook, what's the first word you think of?
Right now, Instagram, funny enough. But,
okay,
but Meta, Facebook, text post, wall. I mean, I could go down
but
the list.
all that encompasses social media, right?
Media, yeah.
When you think of TikTok, what do you think of?
Short form.
Short form, swiping through, right?
Yeah.
When you think of YouTube, what do you think about?
Long form.
Or just video, right?
Yeah, video.
Yeah, I'm putting the pieces together. So like you would say long form, I'd say video.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, okay? When you think Pinterest, what do you think?
Pins.
Pins, okay? So the thing we know it for determines what we use it for.
Yeah.
And so YouTube just wins because of that. And
like the brand awareness, basically.
the brand awareness, that's their number one challenge.
Yeah.
It's like breaking free of that. I'm trying to think of something that has kind of done that. It's just so hard to. This is another reason why Meta changed their name too, so that they're not just a social media company, that they can go into other formats, right?
I would argue that Meta actually is the king of this, right? So like Instagram, if you think their transition to Reels was not guaranteed. They were a photo posting app that was social media based, right? They slowly transitioned their way over to becoming basically a TikTok competitor. And now I would argue a TikTok beater if they're making more money, right?
TikTok beater. The second thing I would say is YouTube could screw it up for themselves if they make the viewing experience worse. This is why when I got that comment a couple weeks ago that they said there's too many ads on your video, it really was loud to me.
Yeah.
Because one of the guiding principles of any creator is don't annoy your viewers, meaning don't do anything like too many brand deals, run too many ads, make a video that they don't want. Because the more you do that, the less likely they're going to watch your content. Now, if a platform does that, guess what? You go to Amazon Prime, you go to Netflix,
Same
or
story.
in this case, maybe you're like, you know what? YouTube's been kind of crappy lately. Let me try out this Facebook app or whatever, because I know there's a lot of videos I like there. Or say you use TikTok a lot. You're like, you know what? I seen like this creator's vlogs on TikTok. Let me go watch it there. And plus it's my algorithm. And so nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the YouTube thing. They're so far ahead because, okay, if Facebook, TikTok, Instagram made the leap to TV and they're making TV apps, right? How long do you think the videos would be that would win if they were successful at taking like 1% of the viewers from YouTube?
I mean, they would have to be longer if they were going to be
They
successful.
would be longer, but just give me an average or a range of how long these videos would be.
It depends on a lot of factors depending on what your question is. But I mean, if they were successful, if we're imagining like, let's say 10 years in the future where they've competed
in the first year in 2026, if they do like get some traction, how long do you think these videos would be?
Longer than a minute is what I'd say. So let's say like 2 to 3 minutes, but then it would continue to get longer and longer over time.
Videos on YouTube are like 2 to 3 hours now.
Yeah.
But when I'm saying not all of them, I'm saying the ones that really went on TV. So they're so far ahead. This is where now they're competing against Netflix and traditional TV. It's just these guys are just like trying to like scrape up whatever they can get.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be significant. We'll just have to see what happens. But you know what I've always said? So YouTube Secrets was originally going to be video influencers. That was the name. The philosophy behind the original title, video influencers, and this was both me and Sean, so it wasn't just me, but I always said that video is becoming common on all platforms. This is in 2014. And so when we decided to call our channel Video Influencers, because we knew video would apply across the board. And how right were we? Okay.
Totally.
Even more than we could ever know. The reason I say this is because of that, I am more keen on connecting with creators in general than YouTubers. Because if you can create for other platforms, you can create for YouTube and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's the creator that's important. So if you make a long form video that's 1 hour long right now, and it can go up on YouTube and get, a lot of views and get 30-minute ABD and all that good stuff. Well, if these other platforms catch up, guess what? You can make the leap over there and compete. So really, at the end of the day, this is why sometimes when we get nerdy about some of these topics, the big takeaway for any creator is get better at making videos that people want to view. If you can do that, you can win on any platform. That is a thing. I have this sign up here that has 3 words I look at every single day. Neutrally can't use his magic to zoom up on it. Has 3 words. It has YouTube as number 1, 2 is creators, and 3 is creator economy. That's what I obsess about in terms of my day-to-day as my profession beyond me just being a creator. But there's one word that's circled, and you guys probably can kind of guess what it is. It's creators.
Yeah.
So though we talk about YouTube because a lot of the long-form opportunity is there, I actually respect all the platforms. I don't look down on TikTok, even though I did a whole workshop the other day where I said, hey, short form is going to get competitive. It's going to be hard to make money, or there's going to be too many players. The real opportunities in long form, I think ultimately it's the creator that's important. That's why this is called the Creator Secrets Podcast.
Yeah.
Get good at creating content that people care about and looking for and interested in, and keep their attention for as long as possible. And it doesn't always have to be a 1 hour video. It could be like 100 shorts, though to me that seems like a lot of work compared to just 1 hour long one upload. And you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're getting into details about do you make a decision if TikTok does make a splash on the TV, just start uploading there,
Yeah, I want to get over to the thing that you mentioned, though, which is, first of all, this is the segment of the show that we call the film room, which is where we talk about our director's commentary for our channels. You brought it up a little bit before, which is that you had some complaints for the first time about the ads on your vlog. Now, I would actually like you to take it in your story way back to the early days of AdSense coming up on YouTube, because this is not the first time you've actually experienced this before. But I do want to understand what your perspective is right now in terms of letting YouTube auto place ads versus you manually placing them versus what your audience wants versus how you should get paid for your video. So tell me about your ad complaints on VeggieMan TV.
Yeah, so to give you context and then go back in history, right now on YouTube, people watch videos and ads play for them. And the longer your video is, the more ads will play. And you have 2 options when it comes to ads, okay? So AdSense is a tool that Google uses to run the ads on your YouTube channels, and they share in that revenue with you as a creator. You can pick either manual placement, where you pick where the ads are, or 2, just let AI do it, and it's automated. In the beginning, we never really wanted to spend time doing the manual thing, so we trusted the automatic one, not thinking it would even put in a lot of ads. It would just put in as many ads as the AI algorithm thought was appropriate for the viewer that wouldn't annoy them, okay? Because you don't want to annoy them. Well, just for years, we use the AI thing, and we're making a lot more on AdSense income. But I finally got a comment, and now, by the way, since then, I've gotten a few more.
Really?
I'm watching so many ads, right? I feel like every time you're about to talk about something, an ad plays, okay? The reason this is significant to me, because if we go way back in time to 2008, first off, you had to apply for the partner program to run a ad, just one ad on your videos. And if you got denied, you have to wait 6 months. Judy got denied 3 times. So we had to wait over 1.5 years to become a partner and run an ad. One ad. And then guess what? When you became a partner and ran that ad, guess what people did? Complain about the ad. They were getting YouTube for free for so many years. We're at this point, probably 3 years, and they didn't ever have to watch ads, and now they have to watch one ad at the very beginning. And then, it grew and became more common. But guess what? Only one ad was playing. And then fast forward to like 2015. If I get these numbers right, that'd be kind of crazy. But then now you had the option of doing 2 ads. I forget if it's one at the beginning and one at the end, or if it was one at the beginning and one in the middle. Okay. So you, as a creator, would decide, do you want to do 1 ad or do you want to do 2 ads? And eventually it was 3 ads, 1 in the beginning, 1 somewhere in the middle, and then 1 like at the end. And I think the one in the middle was the first one where they had this option to do it automatically. The algorithm placed it. And so now we're going to 2016 and 17. So blowing our minds, because guess what happens? Your AdSense income doubles if you're running 2 ads. It potentially could triple. The reason it wasn't always like a steady, like, I don't know what you would call a multiple of your income is because less people are likely to watch that second ad.
Yeah.
And some people don't make it to the very end, so they won't watch it. So just simply having 3 ads didn't guarantee that you're going to get 3 spots. Now go to 2020, 2021. The AdSense tool is amazing. The AI is ridiculous. And what else happens? Longer videos. I didn't know this, but the person that edits my videos, his name is Chris. He lives in Vegas. We don't hang out very often, but when we do, we continue to nerd out about my vlogs and videos and about YouTube and the YouTube studio. And we're just doing research in my channel. I think you might have been there when we were hanging out in Seattle. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah, you got like a lot of ads playing. I was like, well, how many? It's like, I think you can like get 7. I was like, really? Yeah, look over here. And I looked. I saw where all the ads were. And I was thinking, this is kind of crazy. But it would only place the ads there if the people were, 1, watching it and staying, or 2, it was like beneficial to the viewer or whatever. Because would you say ads are better now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you're getting stuff that you might. I've actually seen you like sent me stuff like, oh yeah, this is it, whatever. Okay, so I was at peace with 7 to 10 ads because guess what? People are still watching it. I knew this because my AVD was really high. I never got complaints either.
Yeah.
Until just now. And when I say now, like it's happening more and more. So now I'm starting to think, should I go manual? But the point is this. The algorithm's only as good as it is until it's not. And I think I'm starting to see the wavering. This is where what's interesting is TikTok and Meta have an opportunity to be the platform you watch videos, less ads. You want to know the greatest campaign to promote your TV app for viewing videos is, hey, watch the platform where you can watch your video with less ads.
Yeah.
And it's free. I mean, you want to know the extreme side of it is like no ads, but then will the creators have an incentive? This is where it gets interesting because what I know is like short term, 1 year, maybe 2 years, you can pump in a lot of money into the system to get it going. That's where YouTube is way farther ahead, and they never really had to do that. From the very beginning, they had this system called AdSense that ran the ads for the advertisers, for the businesses and brands, and at the same time, once it got viewed, that revenue was shared with the creator or the uploader, and it's just sweet. Even if it wasn't the best, and people argue it should be a better percentage for the creators, whatever, to me, it's very sustainable because it's still around. It's pretty good till right now. Now you're seeing the cracks, I think. So there you go.
Yeah. So do you think that you'll end up going manual? You're going to test it out a little bit? What's your tactical move here?
So I have a theory here.
Yeah.
That my videos will get more views if I have less ads. So I want to test it out soon. So this will be the next film room. Maybe I'll do it in the next week.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or next couple weeks. I'm going to pick a vlog where I will manually pick the ads. In fact, guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do 2 ads.
Wow.
One at the very beginning and one somewhere in my
Throwback.
video. Yeah. And then I'm just going to see what's different. My feeling is that AVD will be higher. Why not?
Yeah.
This is what I was confused with. Like 7 to 10 ads playing in my videos at any given time during this era would have been
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot still. 20 to 30 minutes long. Okay. So in my next, when the one I choose, I'll do like something that's at least 30 minutes, but I'll just add the 2 ads, one at the very beginning and somewhere in the middle. I'll pick a strategic spot. That's another thing when you pick it manually, you know, like, oh, this is where I reveal the big plot or the news story or whatever, and then it goes to ad. Okay.
Yeah.
AI is actually doing that for you. That's what's crazy. I don't know. This is why it's kind of unique for me because I pay for premium and I don't have any ads. But I'm going to do that. And my feeling is AVD would be longer because, again, what if I'm getting less views or my AVD is lower because people are leaving when they get to the ad that finally bugs them enough. And they like my content like me, but they're like, I'm done with watch the ads. Yeah. How many of us watch TV or a show and then there's a ridiculous amount of ads? I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I'm barely watching these shows.
Bro, going back to just Sunday Night Football, that's why I don't watch TV anymore because all these commercials really just hinder me watching
Constantly.
what I want. Exactly.
And you're saying like football is a reminder of that?
Yeah, because I only watch TV.
It's like the
for
last
football.
broadcast thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to test that out. I feel like it could affect it. But again, the one thing that YouTube is great at is not ruining the platform. When they realize something's hurting creators, hurting the viewers, or hurting the platform, they'll bag it and have no freaking qualms about it, right? There are a lot of nice people at YouTube. When it comes to this, though, there's no like argument. You just got it. And a good example is like Google Plus.
Yeah.
This
Man.
After a while, they're like, yo, let's pull the plug, clean house, and then just move on. So there's a lot of things like that. And that's why, like with AdSense, it's funny. Mine is very anecdotal. It's based off of someone's comment. Maybe they're just having a bad day, but I'm starting to see it. Well, I believe the people at YouTube are also getting feedback. You know, I have a partner manager where I talk to somebody at YouTube. I'm going to tell them that the next time I talk to them. So if that's happening enough times and those managers at YouTube are reporting back to the product people, then they're like, oh yeah, maybe we should pull it back a little bit. We'll reset the AI algorithm so there's just less ads if they're smart.
If you're going to do that next week, we will follow up at that point. I'm very keen to see whether, first of all, you get those comments. And actually, I think you're right. The AVD is the right number to be looking at in terms of the percentage that people watch to see if it is affecting the viewer in any type of way. I'm very curious about how that's going to go. Last week, we actually did another thing where we said we would follow up this week, which is that you live on the show last week posted your first ever collaboration on YouTube. And it went differently than I think that we both expected. And there's a whole bunch of maybe variables there, but I'm curious about what your thoughts are in reflection about the vlog you posted last week as a part of the new YouTube collaborations feature.
Yeah, so I did a collaboration with another creator in the Seattle area. His channel name is AsianVerified. Now, he's more well known on TikTok and especially Instagram, but he does have a YouTube channel. Significantly less subscribers than the followers on like Instagram, which is 200,000 versus like 3,000 subscribers. But I don't do collaborations for me always because of how many followers. I just think if you help me create better content for my audience, great, right? And if you're a friend of mine, you know, there's other creators that just collaborate with. But I'm still very intentional about the content. I don't just collaborate just for the sake of collaboration. So this new collaboration tool, what it does, or I thought it did, was it puts both of our names as the kind of uploader. Now, whoever is doing the actual uploading, they will get the first position, and that second position will be the person you're collaborating with.
Yeah.
I thought, for whatever reason, I don't know where I heard this, I thought the video also shows up on their library.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And it doesn't. And I don't know if that's a setting for the other person. I don't care, right? Even if he decided, I don't think he did. His name's Michael. And then lastly, I just wanted to test it because my first time, I thought maybe it gets broadcast to his viewers who want more long form content from him, but he doesn't because he's a busy guy. He runs a business and then he's doing short form content. And of course, YouTube isn't really like his priority, right? It is Instagram and TikTok. But I thought maybe it would give him a little more love because it's this, you know, long form that's a collaboration with me. I felt like I brought out the best of him, right? I hear something in the background, by the way. Okay, I don't know if you guys heard that. I'm like curious if someone heard. But I thought it brought out the best of him, so it was valuable for his viewers, as well as it brought out a different side of me, right? Not necessarily the best, but it's just like a cool side that had someone that had the same chemistry about Costco products. So what I would say is it didn't go on his video uploads, which is fine with me. But I was like, okay, cool. So this collaboration is just really isolated to you. I didn't necessarily see an uptick in views compared to other things, and it wasn't like my best video upload in terms of performance. But that isn't because of collaboration or the collaboration didn't work. It was more because of the topic, the title, and the thumbnail. And we're not going to go into that. But if I'm being objective, him and I had great on-camera chemistry. It was also just kind of testing. I have never met him before.
Wow.
We've talked through DM, and I say, hey, I'm purposely not going to tell you a lot because I want our interaction to be like not filled with other dynamics. So I was like, hey, whatever happens, happens. Okay. Luckily, I thought it was great. I think it's a video that will over time perform better as his audience sees that he's on YouTube more. And so it's a video that would be served to his audience and my audience. Okay. Ultimately, the biggest takeaway for me is it's a great discovery for him to my audience, because instead of people going to the description, or I forgot, there's probably like a clickable link in the video. Now his channel shows up next to my channel name in the YouTube viewer page. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a win or fail. It was like a successful test of the collaboration tool. I'm going to do it more, but now I'll understand, like, if it's not going to go on his video wall and maybe not get pushed out to his people as much, then it's more like it still needs to be my video. And he's just like any other collaboration that you do. And so what probably is smart for us to do a collaboration where he uploads a video and I'm the secondary, still like the traditional. My thought was like, it's one video that goes onto both libraries and then gets pushed out to our things. It wasn't quite like that. Also, it's only my first time. So is it cool? I think it's cool. It's better than just doing a regular collab, but you still almost need to do the separate videos on the separate channels, still use a collab function. And at the end of the day, what's YouTube's goal? Get you there, keep you there, and bring you back there. Did that video do that? Well, we'll see. I think that it wasn't my best performing, but I also didn't invest too much into like it doing 100,000 views or not. I just was doing, because especially when you don't plan a collaboration, you don't know what the heck's gonna happen.
Yeah, seriously.
We're just like shopping. There was one funny comment said, Benji, you should bring more men to Costco and explain to them what's going on and show them how to shop at that place. I was like, I kind of do that. You want to know what a fun fact? Some of my best performing videos are ones where there's other people in it, not necessarily just a man, someone I'm with, I'm interacting with.
Interesting.
Yes. When I think of my top like 5 to 6 videos, almost all of them have someone else in it, not just me. And it's not what you're thinking. It's not necessarily my kids or Judy. It's literally like other creators.
Yeah, I will say that I think that all of this points back to the big opportunity that's happening on YouTube, right? A lot of things are changing on YouTube. A lot is going on. That we've talked about the TV for the entire episode. And we're getting close to the end here, so I just want to take this as an opportunity to bring up the Vlogging Academy Challenge one more time. For those who have not gotten the opportunity to check it out, the Vlogging Academy Challenge is our challenge from Creator Secrets, designed to give you a taste of everything our team has to offer. You are able to check it out at vloggingacademy.com/challenge, which will be in the description below. And it is our 5-day push from January 5th through 9th that will give you the opportunity to learn directly from Benji and everything that he is learning from his channel that he was just talking about in person, on camera, and get feedback and coaching and everything that you could ever want from the Creator Secrets team. If you want to learn more, visit vloggingacademy.com/challenge. And our thanks to the students who have already joined us, because we've already had fun on the first day. And we're actually about to jump on another call with them right now, right after this. Benji, any final thoughts before we go?
I'd say it's a fun time in YouTube because there's a lot of opportunity, which is cool after 20 years that there's still new like pioneering to be done, of course, with the TV. I'm really curious about what is the leadership going to say this year. So Neil Mohan, the CEO, made a huge announcement where he talked about we're going all in on TV, talked about some other aspects of YouTube and the vision. I want to know what's that new one. When do they do that? Is that in February?
Last year was in February.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm looking forward to that. But even though I teach people or I advise people to make the distinction, are you going to be a shorts creator or a longer form creator or a TV creator? I'm not saying you shouldn't try for the middle, because you might be the best in the middle. You might be able to compete against all the other people there. I'm saying if you want the easiest route, the more clear, the more distinct, the more specific you are in the format that you choose, also for the device you choose, and the type of content, which of course, one of the things that I was trying to get away from, which is niching down. It's still important though to be clear on what your content is about and who it's for. The better off you're going to be. I even with this whole talk with other platforms, YouTube is just dominating. It's crazy. On the social media side, they're dominating, and then on the broadcast streaming side, they're dominating. So the last thing I'll say for anyone that's thinking about YouTube, you need to go all in on YouTube. If you had to go all in on one thing, no matter what you do on the platform, you just need to put all your time into it. If you have a business model that relies on being a TikTok, of course you start doing there. But I wouldn't play around with all these other platforms. Go all in on YouTube. Figure out how you can be on there, how you can serve your audience that's already on other platforms that's also there, or find a whole new audience. Just test it out. And this is why Vlogging Academy, or right now the Vlog Challenge, is really important, because we help you do the reps so you can upload to YouTube a lot in a way that's easy, it's manageable, and you don't need a whole team. You don't need tons of resources. You can just use your phone, because really when it comes down to it, I think this is with anything, and especially social media, short form platforms, you have to upload a lot. But even once a day, once every other day will just be better than 99% of people. And that'll help you more than anything. And it's worth it because of what you're going to learn in the next 1 month, in the next 12 months, to plant the seed, if not get you going. Because the other thing too is you never know. Yeah, this is what's so crazy. Why did people love TikTok? Sometimes they go viral. Sometimes they can become a full-time creator because, like the algorithm just like favor them. Well, guess what? YouTube's doing it, but I think it's even better because it's more sustainable and it can be long-term. My wife and I are a good example of that. In the last era, in this new era, I think we can't even fathom what can happen to you in your life, both on the monetary side, fame side, as well as just like the quality of life as a creator side compared to all the other places. So
I couldn't have said it better myself. I will say one other thing that Doc said in the chat, which is that when it comes to ads, football is the worst, but who else is going to pay Zach Charbonnet $1.8 billion? 26 ain't running for free, people.
1.8 billion?
Million.
Oh.
Not billion.
I was like, what the?
With that said, our thanks to the students of Vlogging Academy who make this show possible. We will see you next week, and go Hawks.